onto your clothes.
I've got your coin for you. Though I have to say, robbing a wretch who doesn't look much better than you...
Thank you 1,000.
Have you got something else for me?
For you, always. You brought me...
Sorry, I can't do that for you.
Not a blanket, but a lovely woolen shawl. My own.
Consider it done.
Thank you, handsome. I gave the shawl to a village woman who lives not far from here to the west. And to make it worth your while, she... Goodbye.
Here's your woolen shawl.
You're the soul of kindness, looking after a...
Tell me something about yourself.
I was a farmer's wife at Neuhof, and I wanted for nothing. I had a decent dowry. My husband didn't beat me. He wouldn't even leave me my dowry. I begged for a while, but then I started selling the only thing I had.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Remember how I told you about my husband? Well now, my former husband is a farmer in Neuhof. I want you to steal it from him, and...
No sooner said than done.
Goodbye.
Is this your dagger?
That's it. Thank you. There's just one last little thing you could...
Last, you say?
After he threw me out of the house, that bastard put another woman in my place. I want you to get the key to that trunk.
Well, wouldn't it be simpler if I just brought...
That's sweet of you. But there are some things I have to do myself. I want to enjoy...
I'll get on it.
May the Lord watch...
Here's the key to the trunk.
At last. Now I have everything I need, and I'll be happy again. Thank you, lad. Come and see me
What will you do now?
Now I'll take what's mine. Good luck.
Something out. At least here you have a roof over your head.
Why is that girl standing here crying?
I executed her husband.
What? You killed...
No, not like that. It was done lawfully.
So then, why...
Folk would like to drive her out of town. She has no one here. For a while I thought I could take care of her, but...
Why?
Do you really have to ask? I can't even go to the tavern for company. And no one would sup their ale with me. And when I die, they'll probably push me into a hole with a
Is it really that bad?
I'm not complaining, mind. It's a well-paid job, if you don't mind being a... They might look sideways at you, too, just for talking to me.
And that's what she's afraid of?
Exactly.
Doesn't that crying girl have it?
None she knows of. Poor... You could help her, though.
Me?
Elishka has no family, but her husband might still have some kin.
What would she have to put up with?
A lot. Most of the townfolk wouldn't give her the time of day, at least not in public.
That doesn't sound like a very happy...
It's not all bad. It's a well-paid job and even respected in a way. And when someone needs a bone set, all of a sudden they
How can I...
Try asking Elishka herself. She knows.
All right.
My thanks.
I just...
Don't despair. It could...
Only death could be worse. And I...
Can I...
What?
Didn't your husband have any kin?
Maybe. He meant...
Is that all you know?
Yes. But if they're anything like my old man, the bailiff and...
Don't you have any kin left?
No. And then I ended up with that man of mine. I always knew he'd get...
That's all I need.
Good health to you.
Do you know Elishka?
The one that's with the
That's her?
Life can be cruel some...
Right.
How should I know? Now...
Bailiff, surely you know me well enough to know I solve more problems than I cause.
You're right, I've heard some reports. Talk to the scribe.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. What the...
God be with you.
I'd like to ask if...
Young man.
I wondered if you could take a look at...
Books? God above, am I to shuffle
I could bring you something for your knee.
from some old hag? That's... Well, I suppose it might be worth...
The bailiff sent me.
That's another matter, then.
Is it possible to find...
You think we keep records of every serf? Christ.
But I thought that in the...
Boy, the books are for recording pacts, undertakings, punishments, property rights, and so forth.
Elishka won't be happy about that.
Elishka? You don't mean...
Yes.
Why wouldn't I? I used to play dice with... He had a son. A nice, polite lad.
Oh, you know, he's...
Well, if you see him, tell him to swing...
And where are the Mishaks living now?
A stone's throw from Ratte by the small fish...
Thanks.
Farewell.
What is it now?
I've got information about your daughter. Elishka's fine, only she needs...
Never heard of her. Get lost.
She's your nearest kin. Elishka's part of your family, and she really needs you...
I won't help.
I could make it worth your while.
Really?
Your son's widow needs help. She has nowhere to go.
What do I care about some use?
She could help you with the farm. She definitely knows how to tell...
A bit of help. Send her here, then. But don't let her think...
That sounds...
And if I hear a...
Fine salvation, this is. Elishka's looking...
She is, but she's not happy.
Indeed.
Did you know her whole family was wiped out by the plague?
Losing your family...
Ah, sorry, So, did you find out...
I have. I tracked them down. They say they'd take her in, but I'm not sure she'd do well there.
Leave that to her.
Good afternoon.
You're... not...
I'm not. I've wept enough for a life.
It's a bit of a change since my last visit.
I haven't had much luck in my life, but I've always worked things out in the...
That's true.
So, did you find...
I did. I found your husband's father and mother.
But...
They're not very nice people, Ilishka. They probably work you to the bone. But you would get fed.
Life is never easy. But at least I'd have a family.
You're right.
May the Lord watch over you.
I've heard the way you talk about her, and...
You know, Hal, she was always the sweetest girl. And it might surprise you, but she even had a word or two from... It grieved me when she married that wait. It was a foolish idea, but I always... Well, fate likes a good laugh. Now I've strung up... I don't want her to leave, but...
Have you made your mind up?
I can't decide. But at least I'd have a family.
Herman could give you a family, too.
He's a decent, upright fellow. I've met none better, and that's the honest truth. But he's an executioner.
And what's the problem? That the other women won't chat with you down at the creek? Did that sort of gossip ever interest you anyway? He's a fine man, isn't he? He's willing to take care of you, and he has the means to do it, and he wants you. He's so sick with love for you, he can't even sleep.
But did he really say that?
He told me he's been in love with you for years. He said he always thought you were the sweetest girl in Rattay.
That's true. We used to meet now and again and exchange... By all that's holy. Goodbye. Herman?
Yes?
Can I stay here with you?
You mean for good?
If you don't want me to.
You can! By God, you can! You've made me the happiest man in the world.
I'd like to learn to read.
You? You don't look like the makings of a priest or clerk. Bear in mind, it won't be all that easy. You'll need plenty of time and a few groschen.
All right.
Very well. I will require some groschen from you, though, and set aside at least a couple.
Here are you.
Then we may as well start.
He did break his vow, but better than to dishonor it here. May he follow his heart.
Wake up, lad. It's time we were getting on. So, let's see you read a bit.
I could do with a bite to eat.
There's a book here on the table. Try to read it.
Will I manage?
You ought to be able to. It's a simple text. Come back once you've worked your way through it.
I've read the book.
Wonderful.
That being greedy doesn't pay.
Excellent. You're one of my most talented pupils. Like I told you, books are valuable. And the words that you place in them ought to be...
Does that mean that I can read then?
Yes, you have the foundation. Remember, my boy, the pen is mightier than the sword. To fully learn your way around words will take a lot more reading yet. Now we'll move on to the second lesson, which will be much harder. Many books are written in Latin, the language of erudite and religious men. There's a book on the table with some text. Read it and then come back.
I only just managed the fable about the goose, and now you're asked...
You're a clever...
I read the...
So tell me. Not bad, my boy. Good effort.
I read...
So tell me. Good heavens! Don't tell me you haven't had lessons before.
Thank you, Dominic.